Hey Cancer, welcome to your reading. This is Soul Code Tarot, and you're with me, Catherine. If you're new to my work, it would be amazing if you could like, share, and subscribe. But without further ado, this reading is to ask Spirit, your guides, and the Ascended Masters, and the Cancer guides, and the collective guides here with us. How good can it get in 2026? How good can it get for the Cancer spiritual collective on Earth in 2026? So, powerful reading. I hope this resonates, and let's see what Spirit has to say, Cancer. So this is just sort of to bring in some positivity, something to anchor to really maybe even consider what action steps you could take now before we reach Christmas and that New Year portal. Yeah? What are the action steps we could take? So I'm using the Oracle first, then we'll move into the Tarot. And I may even read from the Light Seers Cancer. I'm not sure, but I will double clarify with the Light Seers deck. So how good it can get in 2026. Spirit is saying you will be taking some risks, or what feels like that. And that is the truth, Cancer. Okay, but how good it can get is interesting, because if you've had pretty boring 2025 and things have been feeling stuck or nothing going on, it can feel quite energizing and innovating to take a little bit of a risk. And if that's the truth, Spirit is saying that's how good it can get. So let's clarify some more. Now, this is obviously a general collective for the Cancer spirit and the Cancer soul code. So take this in a way where you can uniquely apply it to your life story and to your personal biography. So your biographical life story is powerful, and we all have individual biographical stories. And so this is just an overview of how good it can get with some action steps to take, maybe taking a risk, Cancer. And that's the truth, because there's something you need to release. And that release is going to actually bring you security. That's how good it can get. So let's clarify now with the tarot. Now, this is intriguing me, this reading. Taking a risk brings the truth, which allows a release and more security, Cancer. That's how good it can get. So whatever's been going on, let's see, let's clarify. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, I'm intrigued, Cancer. Let's see. Okay, so it's been around some pain, heartbreak, perhaps, something been going on. So heartbreak and taking a risk, Cancer. So when you take the risk through using Page of Cups, your intuition, Cancer, your intuition around the truth, around this pain, this heartbreak, maybe betrayal, maybe something that's really hurt you, Cancer, in 2025 or before. The truth, when you intuit the truth, and you take a little bit of a risk, it's going to fully release you and just put you into this sense of security again, Cancer. So that is how good it can get. You're just using your intuition to release yourself and take a risk from this heart pain or this heartbreak or whatever's been going on. So sensing perhaps this is really around relationship, but also doesn't have to be romantic, does it? It could be any type of relationship. What are the other action steps for Cancer, please? And positive, uplifting, energizing, innovating, aspirational coaching points. So that when Cancer asks, how good can it get in 2026, they have some reference points. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so let's have a look. Passion. Okay, so this passion is it can get to passion. That's how good it can get. So Knight of Wands. So something coming in fast around taking a risk, around passion, using your intuition with the truth, Cancer, And actually, instead of causing more pain, it's going to actually release you from that pain, that heartbreak, that sorrow, and bring you more security. That's how good it can get. It's going to bring you, wow, Nine of Cups, fulfillment. That's how good it can get, Cancer, fulfillment. Wow, and it's going to take you out of the hangman energy. You're going to stop feeling stuck. So, Spirit is saying how good it can get is that you can actually begin to feel security, released from whatever has been causing you heartbreak or pain. It's going to actually feel very passionate. That's how good it can get, passionate. It's going to feel extremely fulfilling. Perhaps this is a new relationship, or there's something you've been thinking, taking a risk on in your current relationship, Cancer. Little bit of a risk, using your intuition, being very mindful of the truth, and that is going to release this pain, Cancer, releasing the pain that you've been experiencing and bring you back into security, back into fulfillment, and just totally stop this hangman feeling of being stuck. I'm going to clarify with the light seers, Cancer. Wow, so very clear. If you're thinking about taking a risk, obviously nothing detrimental. The risk is tied to the truth, and that truth releases you from the pain. And then that actually brings you in a whole lot more security than you've been feeling. Use your intuition, Cancer. Tap in, because if it's around passion, taking the risk around the passion is going to pay off. It brings in the fulfillment you've been hoping for or just deeply desiring, Cancer. And it's really going to release you. Release you. So powerful. Let's clarify here with the light seers. So very powerful reading, Cancer. Let's see. Any more confirmation, please, for this risk for Cancer? Thank you. Okay, that risk that is really your deepest intuition, that is the truth. So we only take that risk when we're aligned to the truth and we've really intuited that it is actually going to release us from the pain, bring us more security, Cancer, bring us into fulfillment, activate or really bring us into a sense of passion, that it's now bringing you this Ace of Pentacles. That's how good it can get when you take that risk, being in receipt of the Ace of Pentacles, security, prosperity, fulfillment, abundance. It could be a job, it could be a relationship, something that's caused heartbreak and heart pain. It could be that you're not passionate about your job, so this is not just a romance reading. This is how good can it get in 2026 when you take a little bit of a risk that's aligned to truth, and it's you've really gone in deep into your intuition with that. How good it can get is that you re-access passion in your work, in your life, in your relationships, whatever's going on. It actually releases you from the pain. You find more security, and you don't feel stuck anymore, Cancer, and there is a sense of fulfillment. Ace of Pentacles, abundance and prosperity is how good it can get with that risk taking. Thank you, Spirit. So let's see what they also have to say here, Cancer. Okay, so it's going to put you back into the sense of feeling the Emperor. That's major arcana energy. So the Emperor is just sitting there, kind of cool as a cucumber, very self-assured again. The Emperor to me is very passionate as well. He's not the king, he's the Emperor. So it puts you back into passion. It puts you back into security. Because for me, if we're standing in the Emperor energy, if I'm channeling the Emperor energy and I'm feeling that, or I'm receiving that, by default, I'm going to feel secure, very secure. Okay, and Page of Swords. Okay, so something coming in, some idea you've been working on around this thing about taking the risk. Again, so it could be focusing on work. You can have a light bulb moment. You're like, okay, wow, I see the way. I have really intuited the truth. You suddenly see the truth. You have a light bulb moment, and it releases you from the pain of the situation you've been in that's been really hurting your heart, Cancer. You can suddenly see how you can access that Emperor energy. Your situation comes in, an offer comes in that you go, wow, okay, I can sit in my Emperor energy. I'm going to feel very safe. I can definitely release this past pain. I'm going to feel much more passionate in my life, this relationship, this job, this situation. And it's actually fulfilling. That's how good it can get in 2026, Cancer. And wow, the Fool, you are being invited to start a new journey. That's how good it can get. There is a new opportunity, a brand new start, Cancer, coming in and allowing you to release that pain. Wow. Okay, I'm now looking at the gene keys. I just want to see for you, Cancer, what is the dilemma you've been facing? What is the shadow? What are the gifts you can access and activate to really release that pain, come into your Emperor energy, security, passion, and fulfillment in 2026, because that's how good it can get. And if we don't look at what the pain points are, if we're not honest and looking at the truth of all the shadows, then the energy can be stuck and it's actually not true, and we can make the wrong move. So it's important to really look at all aspects, shadows, gifts, cities, and dilemmas. Now, if you haven't checked out your own hologenetic profile, you can go to genekeys.com and do that. There are 64 gene keys. You may have this one, but this beautiful 29 is saying that the dilemma has been postponement, Cancer. What is it you've been postponing? Or has somebody been postponing something with you? And the shadow has been about half-heartedness. So no passion, okay? Whatever it is that's been going on, that's been causing this pain in the work, in the relationship, in life in general, has caused you lack of passion. It's caused you to feel very stuck, hungman, and in a sense of deep half-heartedness. There's nothing worse than that, actually. You wake up in the morning and you're like, ugh, what's the point? There is no passion in it. But how good it can get is that when you take a little bit of a risk around this light bulb moment, this information that might come in for you, then the Ace of Pentacles energy is coming in, Cancer. Okay, that success, that security, that prosperity, that fulfillment. Just use your intuition. Okay, and this gift that then can be accessed, like how good it could get, is commitment. Okay, so you commit, so you no longer feel half-hearted, you feel committed. Or we look at it the other way, we go outside of ourselves and we think, wow, I'm in a committed relationship. This relationship no longer feels half-hearted. So, if we were talking about relationship, okay, the little bit of a risk is asking somebody to marry you, right? There's a bit of a risk in that. They could say no. And even if they said yes, does it work out? Love is a trust pathway. But they're saying that that breaks this half-heartedness and puts a strong gift of commitment into the relationship or the work situation or just life in general. Then the super gift that's able to be accessed is devotion. I just tell you a little bit of a story, Cancer. So when I'm half committed to my work projects, or there's a half-heartedness sense in there. I do not feel any devotion at all. When I feel completely committed to a work project, for example, or completely committed to a relationship, or completely committed to a lifestyle, a way of living, I actually feel devotional. I feel devoted to it. I will work very hard at it. It will inspire me. It brings me security. It makes me feel like the Emperor energy. It feels very fulfilling. So Spirit is saying that the risk is about not postponing anymore. It's a risk to postpone committing in whatever way that is playing out in your life story, Cancer. when that commitment comes from you or the other or the situation, the job offer, okay, I'm going to decide, I'm going to go into business for myself, that commitment brings complete devotion, and that devotion is the security underlying everything that brings the fulfillment and the passion back into life. Okay, so commitment. What is the commitment you need to make that feels a little bit like taking a risk, Cancer? And when you make that decision and really go in with the truth of it from your heart and just allow this, whatever has happened, find the right place there, whatever has happened that's caused the pain to be released, you will find the way into this security, this deep fulfillment, this true abundance, true prosperity. Ace of Pentacles, Cancer, is how good can it get in 2026? Wow. Okay. That is what I've got for you, Cancer. I hope that has helped and seeded some thoughts and processes about what maybe you could think about, maybe you could take action on, etc. So if you're new to my work and you've got this far, it would be amazing if you could like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you again soon, Cancer, and wishing you so much love, energy, and blessings on this journey. And even let me know in the comments below what's going on. Sending you lots of love, Cancer. See you again soon.